Are you welcome to the Deep House Sessions of Donald Kent Art? Here we are. Together again. Just you and me. It's interesting doing this process right here. It's kind of like, in this case, it feels like the marker, the pen is like a blade. And make a precision cut. Very smooth. It's funny because it's like I draw comics just so that I can ink them. There's some strange satisfaction in doing so. I don't know how strange it is, but it's wonderful. So last 2 weeks I was unable to make it to my Tuesday live art stream with Patriarch, the Patriotic Art live show. I'll be getting back to that this coming Tuesday. I feel bad about it, but if you knew why I couldn't make it, you'd understand. It's pretty serious life shit going down. But those things are working themselves out in their own way. I noticed, I was just thinking about how I do like a stream of consciousness musing throughout these shows, and just how random they are, and even how my moods are very random. There might be one show where I'm really up and positive, and another show where I'm kind of down or contemplative. I guess that's called being a human being. But it's okay. And so it is. And so shall it ever be. Digging these tunes, man. Juicy. Juicy smooth. Clean beats. So I'm gonna see some friends tonight, which is good. Das ist gut, ja. All work and no play makes Donald a dull boy. It's been exciting showing these pages to the team, the writer, the financer, and people involved, and they're really loving it. It's funny because, like, I don't know, like, art is my world, you know, it's just my world. And so, like, when you illustrate someone's ideas and bring them to life, um, I think it's pretty amazing. Like, if you wrote a story and then imagine somebody being able to draw the characters and make them interact and all that, it's a pretty satisfying feeling. Oh, and the commercials. Screaming and punching and smashing. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get back to smoothness. The smoothness of Donald Kent art. So, what do you do when you got two really good friends and they're both having a party on the same night? Oh, that hurts. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you only have so much energy and so much time, you know, and money that you're willing to spend on going out, and you gotta pick. And then it's like, oh. So I ended up deciding that, based on essentially like the people that are gonna be at these parties, you know, like I love these friends equally, but I know there'll be different, you know, people at the party. So this is a kind of like, well, I know more people at this guy's party, so it'll be a little more, you know, it's just like, you know, seeing people I know, you know. But then there's the thought of like, yeah, but you could meet new people, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's true, shit, I could do that. And then the one party is starting earlier and ending earlier. Um, so there's all these dynamics to the situation. But I have made up my mind. I'm going to the later party that has more people I know. So, you know, it's kind of a comfort thing. It's like when you're going out, it is nice to meet people. I like meeting new people. But you know, it's like sometimes you just don't want to put the effort into that kind of stuff. So you're gonna go with what you're familiar with. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing tonight. And you know, I'm sure there's new people at the party that I'm going to, so it's not like it's, you know, that's not there or whatever, that's not an element. I guess I'm just not in that. I'm not in that kind of mood zone thing where the super social. I'm a little more in my own head. I've been this way for a little while here, and it's just a phase. But it is kind of my sort of current vibe. And it's interesting how like winters come, and I don't know, there's a sort of a going inside kind of thing that happens, you know. For me anyway, I don't know about you. Just find myself I guess a bit more reclusive, you know. I mean, I tend to like to stick to my closer friends, you know what I mean? And just, it's just winter. It's like a winter vibe thing, you know. And then when spring comes, there's a lot of sort of like summertime events that happen every year. And I look forward to them every year. And then I'm like super hyped up. I'm like super like, yeah, let's go, you know. Really, really happy. And like way more social. But it's also like, I notice like every winter you always get that kind of, there should be a name for this, but it's like the weight that you gain over the winter, you know. And then you gotta be like, spring's coming, let's get back on the treadmill or whatever. But I don't really want to let that happen, and I kind of can't let that happen. I gotta stay on top of the health stuff. That's fine. But there's this tendency to be kind of like, well, I'm too tired today. You know, like I'll do it tomorrow, and I get caught in that trap sometimes. I get a nice little flow going where it's like, you know, I'm working on some kung fu stuff and I'm enjoying, you know, that feeling when your muscles hurt and you kind of enjoy it. You know, that whatever that feeling is. There should be a name for that too. Wouldn't that be a cool? Somebody's got to coin a word for that. Probably somebody has, but anyway. But then, you know, there'll be like one event or something going on that just fucking derails you, you know, which is really where I'm at right now. Like there's some very fucking heavy shit going down here. But I'm very much like, you know what, I can't, man. I gotta fucking stick to it, you know. So like this going out tonight is part of it's just another way to exercise too, you know, going dancing. And you know, like 3-4 hours of nonstop hardcore dancing is, you know, You know, it's crazy because I have a buddy who is like, what do you call it? Those coaches that a trainer, you know, works at a gym kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I can dance for 4 hours straight, but sitting in my room trying to do some calisthenics or lift some weights, and like 15 minutes in, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking bored out of my mind. It's like, ugh. And he literally was like, if you're bored, it sucks. It's just fucking sucks that you're bored. Um, kind of see how that's where sports work well. You're playing with your friends or whatever, and you're not thinking about whatever the effort is that you gotta expend. And, next thing you know, an hour's gone, and you're sweating your head off. And it's like for me, like with the crew that I spar with, 2 hours can go by like a blink. I mean, it's just like, holy shit, like what time is it? The sun's going down. What the fuck time is it? Oh my god, we've been doing this for 2 hours, And that's kind of neat. I'm a little nervous about doing this face. I want to it's got to be just right, and so I might use some different tools. I can have more control over it. But yeah, I got an hour before I go. Well, it's less than an hour now, but I get a little work done before I go. Oh, I'm gonna dance off the stress, you know what I mean? That's definitely what it is. Take a little break from that.
Gentlemen in the mix.
So I do wonder what fine young ladies I will be dancing with tonight. It should be fun. It's. I never know who I'm gonna meet or what's gonna happen, but like there's so many funny stories and funny encounters that are just like they just boost your ego a lot. You know, it's like good times. Uh, just good times. Hippocratic Oath is here. Is he wearing a Mjolnir on his necklace? That is correct. That is very most awesome of you to notice that. I mean, I can't say it's really a spoiler, but because like it's going to be a while before this story is finished, and people get to read it and connect all the dots in the narrative, etc. But it's not what I would say is like a authentic Asatru group. It's like a sort of a cult of people that are hypnotized in a way. I mean, I'll leave that up to the reader to sort of work out those things. But this guy particularly, I shouldn't be talking about this. I'm giving spoilers away. Bad Donald. Not supposed to do that. You know what I'm curious about is how I am going to be marketing this stuff when it's all ready to roll. I love going on shows and talking comics and doing stuff like that. I don't know, what to expect from the audiences. They're not like, you never know what you're gonna get on the internet or whatever. But still excited. When I did the Kickstarter comic with John Della Rose, we got on some good Comicsgate show. A chance to meet some really, really nice people and other comics creators. and just talk about the project and feature my art, and it was great. I loved it. So I would love to get into that community more. And they're not, it's not a political thing really. I mean, of course, it's Comicsgate, but they don't sit around talking about politics so much. It's a little bit more. I mean, to the extent that I'm aware of, I think whatever politics they might talk about would be more along the line of like, look at what Marvel and DC are doing now. Like, look at this freaking stupid thing that they're doing, and just that kind of thing, like, which is sort of, like happening in the film and TV world. Like I say, comics are just films on paper. So it's not a whole lot different than that. And same thing with the fan base as well. It's that people who love, weird Netflix stories with like, transgenders and race swapping and all of that horseshit. Those people are. Comics is the same. They've got, there's. I'll pass on the noise. Thank you. Shut your pie hole. Thank you. It's got, woke people that love, shit comics basically too. So it's not. It's just the way it is. The whole world is completely divided right now. There's no. I don't know if there's a middle anymore. I really don't, honestly. And that's largely because the comics industry doesn't make it that way. Like, they don't. You might find stuff that's not like super overtly political or like social engineering or that kind of shit, But there's just so much of it out there that, like, you get the idea. I was watching a clip of what's his name, Graham Nolan, and there was a while back. I complimented a post, like I think it was a YouTube show or something, and I made was it YouTube or Twitter? It must have been Twitter. Had to have been Twitter. But I basically was like, you rock. I love your work. You're the best. Like, just, I'm a huge fan. And I really admire the guy. I like the guy. Both as an artist and as a person. And I forget what triggered this. What the hell happened? I must have said something to somebody in the thread that was like contradictory to one of the standard, like, you have to believe X, in order to be, accepted and not like, piled on by the lefty masses, And what happened? Hey, Robert, good to see you. Not a really long show. I gotta leave. You know what? I got it. Probably another 40 minutes I can squeeze out. Anyway, I think it had something to do with the Holocaust. And like, how the fuck are we talking about the Holocaust on his Twitter? Like, I don't know how that came up. It's kind of not. It's just dumb, But me being me, I couldn't keep my fucking mouth shut. I had to like just say something, and then fuck, here we go, like that. And no, Graham Nolan was like, they were going after Graham for like what I said, and Graham's like, the fuck, I don't know this guy. He's just exercising his free speech. There's nothing racist about what he's saying. Like, I'm not, whatever, like leave me alone, kind of, And but then I posted. I have it's basically, it's not a meme, but it's like a clip of all these newspaper covers from like the just around right before World War II that had numerous claims of like how the Germans had killed 6 million people, and like World War II hadn't even started yet. You know what I'm saying? And it was just sort of exposing the propaganda lies of that whole thing. Well, that that upset Graham, unfortunately, and then I guess he blocked me or something like that. And that's his prerogative. He can do what he wants. I still am a fan, and I also don't blame him for not knowing, kind of, just because we live in the world of Jewish propaganda, and not it goes beyond that. It's like, if let's say he got J pilled, now how's he gonna fit in with his normie conservative friends? You see what I'm saying? So like, you got lions to the left and tigers to the right. There's no way out. And so, and I kind of regretted. I do regret, like, writing that or whatever, put whatever the hell I wrote there, that because I didn't want to, like, I had no idea that people would go after him. I just sort of thought it was just fans in his Twitter thing. But I didn't know that, basically leftoids just like stalk these guys. They lurk in their Twitter feeds and just attack anybody and everybody that says anything. They're just mentally ill fucktards. And it's like you really would. It's like if there were a way to get like a restraining order for these kind of people because they're psychos. But that's, so I kind of learned a hard lesson there, that like, shit, I didn't quite know that that's kind of how it goes. This is a shame. But there you go. I mean, I suppose, like you tend to think like, oh, this is where people who are into this thing congregate, and we're all kind of on the same page on whatever the thing is. Nope, nope. There's nowhere that they don't go. There's nowhere that they don't police and troll and patrol or whatever. It's pretty fucking annoying. And you figure this is this guy's job, like he can't take any risks, with his work. So I'm not gonna jeopardize that. Oh, this is kind of neat. I'm liking the way this is coming together. Hails to Western Kind. Hails chat. Nice. What's going on there, Mr. Western Kind? What are you guys up to tonight? You got any cool plans or anything shaking? I'm going to be going out in about a half hour. Can't keep the ladies waiting, That would be cruel of me. I just can't find it in me to do that, But before anyone was on the stream, I was sort of musing about this situation where I have like two good friends are both having parties tonight. They're DJs and they're playing at different venues. And I'm like, shit, which one do I go to? So that's probably a good problem to have, I guess. But I decided, I'll go to the one where there's more people that I know, and like it's actually a smaller club, and like the people that go to that club are like house music scenesters, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like we all kind of know each other. Not all of us, but you know, and it's just moderately, you know, like so. And whereas like the other club is a bit more sports barish, which is fine, but like, you know, they don't get the scene. They're not in the scene. And that's fine or whatever, but you know, it's just a different vibe, you know. There is the sports bar event ends a bit early too, so like there's a chance that those guys might scoot over to the second party where I'll be. Reasonable conclusion was arrived, as I would assert. Sports ball. Yeah, I'm not gonna go hard on sports tonight. I've been pretty mean to sports people, and I think I'm gonna lay off on that for a bit. I'm alienating my sports fans. Well, I don't think I have. I don't know if I have any sports fans that watch this show. Oh, interesting. I never thought of that. That's an interesting topic.
Gentlemen in the mix.
Well, that's kind of a funny thing. I never thought about that. I assume like everybody who follows this channel knows who I am, you know, like what I've done, my accomplishments. But like I was talking last night, when my mom died, I took almost a year off. I mean, and I just kind of, you know, I wasn't doing any content, so like the momentum or whatever pretty much stopped, I guess, you know. Of course, I still know people in the scene and this and that, and I kind of hoping to bring it back, sort of, you know. Talk. We're just gonna have to see how it plays out. I'm not super sure quite yet. Oops. I hate that when I'm off screen. I like the idea of playing sports IRL. I got a kind of a neat little story for you. I gotta keep my eye on the clock. The thing is, like, I gotta make sure I leave at a certain time, otherwise parking sucks. It's like really hard to find a parking spot, which is kind of good. It's, you know, that's sort of a testament to like what a great, you know, like event this is. It's once a month, this particular DJ party. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so when I was, oh God, how old was I? Oh geez, young. I don't know, like sixth grade, let's say. This is the time when I'm with my comic book art buddy, and we are, you know, drawing our own comics and sharing in that fun fandom kind of thing, and you know, learning how to draw together, and you know, like, oh, I learned how to do muscles, or I learned how to draw fire, or I did this, I did that. You know, you're in sixth grade, you know, and so it's a pretty fun time, I guess. And anyway, that friend, he's a bit more, well, he's a lot more sporty than I am, and I'm assuming he came up with this idea. And the idea was that we would invent our own sport. And that what we would do is we would draw, like, we would design the team uniforms and logos, and, you know, like the Kansas City Crocodiles or whatever, you know, whatever that was, you know. And I probably have that art somewhere. I think I actually still have it somewhere. But Anyway, it was like a super fun little project that we would get into these really neat little art project, you know, phases or whatever. Anyway, shit, that doesn't. So whatever. And then we're discussing like, well, how is the sport played? Like, what are the rules? And frankly, it was kind of like a combination of like soccer and football, which ended up sort of being like rugby in the end. And then like it was winter when we came up with this idea. It's probably like football season had just ended or something. And what I had like in my backyard, we set up basically we had like two lawn chairs on either end of the yard, and we had like a soccer ball, and the idea was that you had to like run and throw the soccer ball into the opponent's lawn chair and knock it over, and that was how you got points. And then there was, and again, I don't exactly remember how it works. I think it's something like you had to kick the ball down the field, but then you had to pick it up and throw it. And you could tackle, so like imagine soccer with tackling. And so the ground was like frozen solid. So I just remember landing on like rock solid grass, that was like frozen. Plus, it was like cold as hell. But when you're in sixth grade, you're like, rah, like that. This is fun. We invented this. Is so cool, and we're like best buddies. Hey, we got a new friend here. Cool. Valentina Casanova. I wish I could read that. But welcome. Hola. Hola, Valentina. Welcome. Valentina Casanova, venido al chat. ¿Qué tal, tía? Hice un error. But, so I guess I'm going to have to start learning some Spanish for this. I'm assuming that's not Portuguese. I seem to get a lot of Spanish-speaking people that pop in on this stream, and it's pretty cool. Where are you from? Let's see if she can. Yes, Spanish. Yes. Okay. And just people who don't know my content or whatever, and try to give them a little intro to my world. Also would like to know like how you found this channel. Like I assumed that a lot of times it just like kind of pops up in their feed, and they might like the artwork, and they'll be like, I'm gonna check this out. I watch a lot of YouTube myself, so there's certain topics that I watch, and so YouTube will feed me more like, if you liked this lecture on Gnosticism, you might like this lecture on Gnosticism, da da da. Speaking of which, I have a kind of a hot topic to talk about here. I can be your official translator. Please do. Please do. So can you ask her what country she's from? I would like to know that. That'd be cool. So, so as you guys know, I'm interested in Gnosticism, and there's not a lot of content out there about it, and I came across a new one, and the guy that does the show sounds very intelligent, and is doing some great deep dives on all this religious text analysis, and I'm digging it. I'm really, really into it. I'm like, oh, great, this is a great find. I'm feeling really good. And then kind of sort of towards the end of watching the stream, I noticed that he's wearing a yarmulke, yarmulke, hey, Rem Theory's here. Cool beans, my bro. What's up? So just give me a look at the page here. How are we doing on time? Okay. And so, like, what he's talking about is mostly Christian Gnosticism. And I'm getting the impression that he's Christian or a Christian Gnosticist just by the way he's talking. And so I'm like, well, maybe he's just wearing it because it's like a type of I'm spiritual man, like whatever. I'm into this kind of esoteric Abrahamism or something or other. I don't know. And I didn't really get, he didn't, how do I put this? He didn't pass the physiognomy check, if you know what I'm saying. Like he didn't have the long nose situation or any of that stuff. And so I just left a little message saying, hey, Donald quiere saber en qué país vives yo también. You get what I'm saying. So I just asked him, hey, why are you wearing a yarmulke, And it was just an innocent question. I wasn't trying to be confrontational or whatever. I just was curious. And, like a day later or whatever, he replied and he says, because I'm spiritual. And so I was like, I'm spiritual. I don't wear one, I don't know. But I guess I sort of felt a little sense of like, I don't buy that. I don't know if I buy that. So I like Googled his name and I started doing some background research on him. And his wife is a rabbi. She's a Jewish rabbi. I didn't think women could be rabbis. Is that, you guys know anything about that? I think that's, so straight out of the gate, that's like that's like the Protestant version of Judaism or something where, feminist women can be rabbis and so they can marry gay people, like that type of thing. And sure enough, I look her up. Oh shit, she's in this like, Jews for Social Justice group, that kind of shit. I'm like, fuck, you're done. Like, your credibility is just shot, And I mean, so here I am thinking like, okay, normally in cases like this, what happens is that, let's say, how do I put this? Essentially, the Jews get in early on something, and then they control the narrative of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they position themselves in such a way that, we're safe in here, we're nestled in here, and they just keep their power, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And so here I am. I'm like genuinely trying to learn more about Gnosticism, and I see this, and so now I'm pissed off because I'm like, seeing this connection here, it's pretty much probably true that you are essentially a kind of a gatekeeper, that you're up to something. You know what I mean? What it is exactly I couldn't really say, because I don't, like, he's a professor of religious studies, and like that's all he does. You know what I'm saying? And so like I don't put in years and years of time of like studying esoteric texts. I mean, I have, but they're like mostly Buddhist texts and Taoist texts and things like that. I'm gonna check a little quick thing here. Yeah, I think I won't put that one on. So it's disturbing to me, that I'm thinking like, oh great, this is awesome. My God, found a great resource. And now I'm like, oh shit. So if I'm gonna listen to any of his lectures, I have to kind of look out for the, what's it called, like the infiltration, the subversion. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm annoyed. I'm disappointed. Let me back out a bit here. Speaking of subversive types, have you seen Robert Seffer's latest YouTube, Subversion Origins of Communism? It's good, yeah. He did one just before that about Zionism, I believe. Yeah, and like I feel like he's been attacked so much that he's starting to kind of like, look, I gotta face the JQ in my work, and kind of redeem myself somehow, because like he gets harassed like a good bit, you know what I'm trying to say, and like I'm still not kind of convinced that he's like a bad actor. I understand that like his dad, something about his dad and like Jewish, what do you call it, like a nonprofit, or there's something going on. So like I guess all I can say is like I'm just aware that like this situation exists, to put it kind of like that, but the content of his work, I just don't see that it's that bad. However, I guess there is one tiny thing. Like I bought a book of his on Vril. I guess you guys would know what Vril is, and like Nazi UFOs and that whole thing. Marie Orsic topic I'm really really interested in. And I also bought another book from another author on the topic. And I guess I found that like everything in Sefer's book was just kind of stuff you can find on the internet. I'm just like, this wasn't worth buying because of that. It wasn't that it was bad. Yeah, it's okay. I just kind of put it like that. The other author is like insane. Like it's like goes like that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to go down that road, but yeah, I'm kind of hopeful. I mean, I want to like him. I'll put it that way, and I suppose that maybe some people would criticize me for that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead, criticize me. I'm not the type that, I'm not made out of eggshells. The thing is, it's really just boils down to maturity. Like all I want is the truth. I don't care about, like, if I'm wrong, I will gladly say I'm wrong, and thank you for correcting me. You know what I mean? It's not, oh, I'm gonna defend my position because my ego. That to me is immature. You know. Anyway, so I'm yeah, I'm happy to hear that that's good. I did share that link on his Exposing Communism, but I haven't had a chance to actually check it out yet. What else? Anything else in the comments here? I listened to the audiobook The Secret Behind Communism by Dr. Duke. Ooh, that's got to be good. United, hopefully, Duke went. Sorry. Duke went deeper. Robert Seffer didn't mention that Engels and Marx were threatened by their patrons. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to wrap it up kind of soonish. 10 minutes max. Send a buck this way. Why not? Check it out. Oh, hey, Western Kind. Thank you for your donations, by the way. So what else? Yeah, a lot of stuff going down, guys. A lot of shit going down, bros. But I feel like the cat's out of the bag on the Jews. Like it's over. They're not over. I mean, they still have power, and we're still in the throes of fucking World War III and shit. But we got a lot of fucking hell to go through before this is over. But it seems to me that the normie conservatives are catching on. Who would ever thought that you know, leftists and right wingers would, or I guess maybe the far right would agree on like Israel's war crimes or something. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Why is there always a saxophone solo in my show? That's been like a strange thing, a phenomenon. Like I don't really like saxophone. I just kind of associate it. Not that I don't like saxophone. I can't not like an instrument per se, but I just associate it with like cheesy '80s pop rock songs, and you know, I like jazz saxophone. I'm gonna put it that way. It's funny. I got in like a little tiff with Richard Spencer about jazz once on Twitter. I mean, it's just fun. It's not like we were really fighting, but he hates jazz and I like it, and we were going back and forth about it. And it was just sort of, I have a sense of humor about these things, so I made it into a joke, basically. It's kind of funny. Had to be there, sorry. So there you go. Looking good. Adolf did not like jazz, designated it as degenerate. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I better change my views on that then. If Uncle Adolf says it's degenerate, then I gotta change. It's like massive amounts of Uncle A posting on Twitter. Who was it? I think his name's Weinstein. He's like a kind of well-known Jewish conservative commentator. How he got put into the limelight was he was a college professor, and like his black students wanted to have like a day with no white teachers on campus, and they like, they didn't physically assault him, but they kind of ganged up on him. And you know how they'll like get in a group and they'll all start shouting in your face, like a slogan, like a leftist slogan or some anti-white bullshit. And the video of that went viral, and then he got, people wanted to talk to him about it, and da, 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 da. And now he's like an influencer, It's like, I mean, he's not, he's not. I mean, he does say some sensible things. I mean, he's Jewish, so like, he's not gonna be. You get what I'm saying. I don't have to explain myself. But the funny thing, like the funny new post that I saw was that he was pointing out that people are noticing. They're basically saying on Twitter, like, why is it that the Jews were, kicked out of so many countries, or like, blah blah. Like, why did Hitler do what he did? Da da da. And it's the noticing, and he makes some kind of post about like, all this has to stop. This has to stop. It's, and he as he basically reframed it, and he's saying something to the effect of like, the point has to be that all genocide is bad, and no one would disagree with that. But what it is a smokescreen. It's a way of saying like, don't notice what the Jews are fucking doing. Gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, that's typical. That's like just, I don't want to say like masterful, but like he did it really well. Like, oh, we have to, we should stop noticing this thing and saying this thing, because It's really about genocide, and all genocide is bad. Oh, well, then say white genocide is bad. Say it. Say it. You know what I mean? Like that, right? Go for it, buddy. You know. And no, so um and again, it's that thing of like, well, if I can reframe it this way, then like people will feel guilty. And if I can control them emotionally, then I can stop them from finding out the truth. Okay. So what else are we talking about in the chat? I'm really gonna have to wrap this up, guys. I have to go Paso Canoas, border town with Panama in 2 months. I'll let you know how the orcs are doing. What the hell are you doing down there, dude? I like some old jazz. I listen to Charleston music every year on New Year's Eve. Oh, that's kind of neat. People need to rise up against all anti-whites, correct? Well, anyway, so there you go, man. Like that. So I usually, and then I look at the clock and go, oh shit, but I really am gonna need to wrap it up here so I don't do that again. See, I learn. I'm a good dog. Hit the like button. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share, comments. All of that good stuff. You guys keep on rocking in the free world. And hopefully we'll see you on the flip side. United, I'll be fine. They'll see me and put me in a separate line when I cross the border. They have a special line for orcs. Interesting. Take it easy. Okay. Good night, bros. Saludos.